going to class or doing homework. It's a nice life if you can get it, but in the end, it's a very costly vacation for all of us. Is it worth it? Bryan Caplan has thought a lot about that question. He's a professor at George Mason University. He's the author of the book, The Case Against Education, and he joins us tonight. Professor, thank you for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me.
So let's stipulate at the outset there are people for whom college is, of course, a great investment. They would be physicians, research scientists, professors, perhaps in your case. But for the average humanities major, is it a good idea to spend all this money, go this deeply in debt, for the diploma?
Well, we're talking selfishly speaking, the key issue is, are you likely to graduate? If you have a very high chance of graduation, then I'd say if you look at the numbers, selfishly, it's a pretty good investment. But there's a lot of kids that go to school who have a very low chance of ever finishing. Kids that did poorly in high school and then predictably do poorly in college as well, or generally don't finish. And so much of the payoff for college comes from crossing the finish line from graduation. That really is the most important question to have on your mind is, can I really do the job of finishing?
So why wouldn't our lenders, particularly the U.S. government, the biggest of all lenders, student loans, take that into consideration?
Yeah, well, of course, when the government is lending money to students, they're not thinking about return on investments. It's about trying to be popular.
But it crushes the kids. So if you're giving a massive loan to a kid who's not going to graduate or ever make the money to pay it back, you're creating deep instability in your own society, aren't you?
Yeah, I think deep instability is overstating it. So there are a lot of kids where it's a bad idea for them to go. But the thing is that in order for government to do anything different, they would have to actually profile people and say, we don't think you're likely to succeed, so we're not giving the money. And just think about the populist backlash to something like that.
Well, how about you say you don't qualify for a loan unless you've got, demonstrated effort in school? I mean, because it's not good for kids to give them loans they can't repay, is it?
I think that's a great idea, but it sort of goes back to the problem of back in the old days when you go to your guidance counselor, should I go to college? They would say, well, I don't think you're college material. And nowadays, it would be almost impossible for a guidance counselor to say that every kid's college material. Everyone has to be told, oh, if you just go and maybe just go get up your grades in community college and everything will be fine. It's just very hard to go and tell someone bluntly, the statistics say you're very unlikely to finish, so you should try something else.
So we've got over $1 trillion of outstanding student loan debt, some of which will be laid on the feet of taxpayers because we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
I think that's quite right.
Whoa. Professor, thank you. You didn't make me feel better, but it was nice to hear a sane voice on the subject.
Always happy to be here, Tucker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaker of the House Paul Ryan says he's leaving Congress at the end of the year. He leaves behind a smoldering pile of wreckage once called